A lot of people think that the land near Disney has already been spoken for. Tourist corridors, vacation rentals, hotels, shopping centers, themed communities, traffic, crowds, all the things people picture when they think about living close to the parks. Then you drive west of Disney and you see something that does not match the assumption at all. Orange groves, wide open land, long stretches that still feel connected to the old version of Central Florida. If you've ever driven along parts of Highway 27 near Claremont, you may have noticed those groves and wondered how land this close to Disney still exists. Some people assume it's protected. Others think it will probably stay agricultural forever. A lot of buyers never notice it at all because they're so focused on the homes and communities already built around Horizon West, Winter Garden, Windermere, and Claremont. But one of those large remaining citrus properties is now part of a major planned development area, and it's called Panther Run. It could become one of the most important future communities to understand if you're watching where Central Florida is growing next. This is not about telling you when to rush into anything. It's about understanding the map before the map changes. Because if you're thinking about moving near Disney, the question is not only where people are buying today, you also need to know where the next version of this area may be taking shape. Ranches and citrus groves were not scenery, they were the economy. Families built businesses around citrus production, and whole communities were shaped by agriculture long before this side of Orlando became known for relocation buyers, master-planned neighborhoods, and quick access to the parks. If you've lived here for a while, you probably remember more stretches of orange trees than you see today. The smell during blossom season, the roadside fruit stands, the feeling of driving past rows and rows of citrus before the next wave of development reached that road. That version of Florida has been disappearing slowly, though not all at once. Panther Run matters partly because it sits right at the line between Central Florida and the future version of this corridor. The land connected to this project includes Arnold Groves and Ranch, along with neighboring citrus properties near Lake County and the Orange County line. For decades, that area remained agricultural, even though it sat only minutes from some of the strongest real estate growth in Central Florida. Think about how unusual that is. Millions of people visit Disney every year. Families relocate to be near Horizon West, Hamlin, Flamingo Crossings, Winter Garden, and Windermere. New construction keeps pushing west. Meanwhile, a large piece of land nearby still looks like the Florida people assume was already gone. This is why the story is bigger than one neighborhood. In 2024, GTUSA purchased more than 2,400 acres in Lake County's Wellness Way area, including Arnold Groves and Ranch and the adjacent Roper property. The reported sale price was around $165 million, and reporting at the time described it as a record-setting land sale for Lake County. That kind of transaction tells you something. Developers do not spend that kind of money on land near Disney because they think nothing is going to happen there. Panther Run is a master-planned community, though the exact details can evolve as approvals, filings, infrastructure, and market conditions change. That last part matters. When I talk about future development, I don't want to hear certainty where there's still planning involved. Timelines can change. Road projects can shift. Community plans may be revised. Builder announcements do not always mean homes are available tomorrow. A smart buyer watches the direction of growth without treating every proposed detail as guaranteed. That is the right way to look at Panther Run. Not panic, not hype, context. Whenever I work with buyers relocating to Central Florida, one question that comes up in different forms is, where is the next place that people are going to be talking about? Sometimes they ask it directly. Other times it shows up when someone says they love Horizon West, but they want more space, or they like Winter Garden, but they feel priced out, or they want to be close to Disney without living in a tourist-heavy area. That is when Claremont and the Wellness Way corridor become part of the conversation. Growth in Central Florida does not stop just because one area becomes established. It moves towards land, roads, infrastructure, jobs, schools, and demand. Horizon West did not become what it is overnight. Winter Garden's growth didn't happen in one season. The The western side of Disney has been changing for years, and Panther Run is one of the clearest signs that the next chapter may be moving towards Claremont and South Lake County. So what is Panther Run supposed to become? At the simplest level, it is planned as a large master plan development in the Wellness Way area, stretching across land that connects US 27 toward the Orange County line. Early descriptions have included thousands of homes, commercial space, employment areas, schools, parks, trails, conservation areas, open space, and new road connections. More recent planning conversations have also pointed to a broader mix of residential, commercial, resort, hospitality, and job-focused uses. That mix is important because it tells you it's not just about putting houses on old orange grove land. The larger goal appears to be creating an area where people can live, work, shop, move around, and use local amenities without relying on one single nearby destination. That matters for families. A neighborhood can have beautiful homes and still feel incomplete if every errand, appointment, school run, meal, and activity pulls you far away from where you live. A stronger planned area usually tries to solve more than just a housing piece. Panther Run is also tied to a bigger growth pattern around Wellness Way. Wellness Way has been discussed as a corridor focused on health, wellness, life sciences, innovation, residential development, commercial space, and employment opportunities. Olympus is another major name connected to this larger story. You may have heard about it as a planned sports, wellness, lifestyle, residential, commercial, and entertainment-focused development in the Claremont area. The exact pieces and timing should always be verified because these projects move through planning, approvals, revisions, and phases. Still, the direction is worth paying attention to. This part of Claremont is not just random open land west of Disney. There's a larger growth framework forming around roads, employment, housing, recreation, and future access. This is why the location matters so much. Panther Run sits along the Lake County and Orange County line in the broader corridor between US 27 and the Disney area growth happening to the east. That puts it near conversations buyers already care about: Claremont, Horizon West, Hamlin, Flamingo Crossings, the 429, future road connections, and the western side of Disney. This is not growth happening in a place completely disconnected from the market. It's growth extending one of the strongest relocation corridors in Central Florida. For buyers, that can create opportunity, but it also creates questions. What will the roads feel like once the homes are built? How will schools keep up? Which communities will feel residential, and which areas may lean more towards tourism or hospitality? Where will the commercial centers go? How long will early residents live through the construction? What will this area feel like before every planned piece is finished? Those are not reasons to dismiss the development, they're reasons to evaluate it carefully. A future growth area can be exciting and still come with growing pains. And that's why timing matters. If you're moving to Central Florida in the next 3 months, Panther Run is probably more of a future context point than an immediate home search solution. You still need a house that works right now. Your commute, school plan, monthly payment, insurance, HOA, CDD fees, grocery access, daily routine, they have to make sense in a normal week after you move in. Future roads and planned amenities will not help if your current life feels inconvenient from day one. For a buyer moving soon, I would use Panther Run as a sign of where the corridor is headed, not as the foundation of the whole decision. If your timeline is closer to 6 months, the conversation changes. You may have enough time to watch builder releases, construction progress, road updates, and early community activity. Now, that doesn't mean that you should make a decision based on a brochure. It means you can compare what is active, what is planned, and what is still too far out to rely on. A 6-month buyer should be asking very practical questions. Which homes and communities are actually available? How firm are completion timelines? What fees are attached? What school zones apply? How will the drive work from that exact location? Is the area already livable, or are you comfortable with the community still forming around you? And that's where local guidance matters, because online searches can make every new development look equally ready, and they're not. Now, if you are 1 to 2 years away from moving near Disney, Panther Run becomes much more interesting. Many relocation buyers start researching long before they're ready to buy, and that is not wasted time. It gives you a chance to understand the pattern before you're under pressure. If your move is still 12 to 24 months away, you should be learning how Claremont compares to Horizon West, Winter Garden, Windermere, and the more tourist-driven areas closer to the parks. You should be watching where new roads are planned, where builders are entering, where commercial activity is starting, and where full-time residential communities may begin to form. This is also where you want to separate excitement from fit. A massive planned community can sound impressive. That does not automatically mean it's the right fit for your family. Some buyers love being early in a growth corridor. They're comfortable with construction, changing roads, new phases, and a neighborhood that may not feel finished right away. Other families want established routines, mature landscaping, completed amenities, proven traffic patterns, and schools that already feel predictable. Neither buyer is wrong. The problem comes when you choose an early stage area but expect it to feel fully built out from day one. Panther Run also raises a bigger question about what people think living near Disney means. A lot of buyers assume the land close to the parks is already either tourist heavy or too expensive. Some of that is true in certain areas, but Claremont challenges that assumption because it still has land, growth corridors, and communities taking shape in ways that feel different from the established Disney-adjacent neighborhoods. That does not mean that Claremont is automatically better. It means the search deserves more nuance. Horizon West may give you newer planned community living closer to Disney, but prices and inventory can feel competitive. Winter Garden may offer charm, restaurants, trails, and established lifestyle, though the exact pocket matters. Windermere carries its own appeal and price structure. Claremont may give you a different value equation, more room to grow, and access to future development, but the drive, build-out time, and day-to-day routine needs to match your life. That is the real comparison. Not just which city is closest to Disney, not just which home has the prettiest listing photos. You're choosing the routine attached to the location. For some families, the appeal of Panther Run and Wellness Way will be the idea of getting into an area while it's still forming. For others, the better fit may be a community that already has the amenities, schools, shopping, and traffic patterns that they can evaluate today. Both decisions can make sense. The key is knowing which type of buyer you are. I also want to be clear about appreciation. I cannot promise what home values will do. No realtor should tell you an area will definitely appreciate soon. Markets move for many reasons, and future development does not erase risk. What I can say is that when I see a corridor with major land acquisition, infrastructure planning, large-scale development interest, and proximity to one of the strongest demand drivers in Central Florida, I pay attention. If I were planning a move near Disney, this is exactly the kind of growth area I would want to understand early. Not because every buyer should rush there, because the people who understand the area before it becomes obvious usually make calmer, more informed decisions. Panther Run represents a transition. Yesterday, this land was part of Florida's citrus history. Tomorrow, it may become home to thousands of residents, new businesses, public spaces, and another piece of the Westside Disney area growth story. That kind of change can feel exciting, uncomfortable, or both, depending on how you see Central Florida's future. I think buyers should understand it either way. If you're moving near Disney, you do not want to discover these growth areas after you've already narrowed down your search too far. Claremont, Wellness Way, Panther Run, Olympus, Horizon West, Winter Garden, and Windermere, they all solve different problems for different families. Your timeline matters, your budget matters, your tolerance for growth matters. The lifestyle you want after the vacation feeling wears off matters most. If Panther Run has made you curious about Claremont or the future of living west of Disney, you can book a call with me using the link below. I can help you compare what exists now, what's still developing, and which Disney area community actually fits the move your family is planning.